lateral movement and lateral loading along what's called the frontal plane is the other type of movement nutrition that most humans are deficient in. And if we go back to movement in life, you're moving sideways. Movement in recreation, there's a lot of lateral movement, especially if you're playing any field sports or and then if you're doing anything that's on uneven terrain, there's always a lateral component to that. Even something like a hike that's on uneven terrain, there's a ton of lateral loading and stabilization that happens. And aside from the gym where weights are balanced and there's convenient handles and bars to grab onto, the kind of things that we actually hold onto and grab and move and pick up in real life are generally asymmetrically loaded. They're heavier on one side than the other. I mean, even the way that we pick up our children, you pick them up and put them on one side so that you can maneuver and manipulate things with the other hand. So most people think that a strong core is represented by like a strong six-pack and everything, and that's not to say that the rectus abdominis doesn't have an important function, but really it's all your lateral stabilizers along your body that are really responsible for providing you with a solid core foundation that both protects your body from injury, protects the joints like the spine and the hips from injury, but also allows you to be strong and powerful and to control and decelerate force. So really a strong core is a strong lateral chain that protects everything from the ankles up to the knees, hips, pelvis, spine, and shoulders. It's really the lateral chain that's so important. So, if you're not getting that in your daily life, which if you are a commuter that then goes and sits at a desk, you're not getting any of that. So we want to make sure that we get a lot of lateral nourishment as well as rotational nourishment. And movement snacks are a great way to do that because it's the kind of things that one of the principles of movement snacks is that these things accumulate in the way that you get them in your diet because of the way that it gives a frequent stimulation to the nervous system that innervates this stuff and the tissues that support it. So great ways to get some of this lateral movement is just side plank and side plank variations. But a simple side plank is great, but there's some ways that we can extract more benefit, and that's what the whole point of this video training is to show you guys how to get the most out of these little 60 seconds. So there's two side plank variations I really like for this. One is a Copenhagen side plank where we're stabilizing with the top leg and then moving the bottom knee up so that we're also getting some hip work. And there's also ways that you can grab a band and do rows while you do a Copenhagen plank, or excuse me, a side plank or a Copenhagen plank, and even getting a dumbbell and doing Powell lifts like this. Then another option is to do top leg movement, so we're getting abduction, so we're getting the outside of the hip. These are great little combinations that you can do, spend 20 to 30 seconds on one side, 20 to 30 seconds on the other. That's your minute movement snack, and you've now completely activated your lateral chain and your hips. Not just the glutes, but also your adductors, which are super underrated as far as their role in movement and stability, and your hip flexors as well.